Hey everybody, welcome to Lore Friday for January 28th, 2022. I'm your host, DM Gallibond. Today on Lore Friday, we are going to be looking at the next adventure out of the Abyss campaign. It's called the Silken Paths. But before we get to that, I want to remind you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, click the post notification bell so that you get notified every time new content drops on the channel. Alright, so this is our next look at the adventures that comprise the Out of the Abyss campaign, which was published on September 15th, 2015. This adventure, called the Silk Paths, is still rated for Tier 1 and levels 2 through 3. The theme of this particular adventure is that the party has to pass through a miles-wide area of the Underdark that's filled with the webs of giant spiders. The setting for this, just like with our Into Darkness review, the setting for this one is the vast caverns of the Underdark between civilized settlements. Teaser for this one is that the party's escaped from Velkenville and now has reached a seemingly impenetrable expanse of giant spider webs. Signs of pursuit are still behind you. Do you dare to turn around and risk recapture, or do you want to forge a way through the dangers ahead? A summary of this adventure: as you study the wall of webs before you, a sound reaches your ears. Laughter. It's not the laughter of someone gone mad, but the laughter of someone on an adrenaline high. High on the thrill of cheating death or disaster as they do something most would think impossible. As the laughter gets closer, the strand of the giant spider webs before you begin to deflect, and you back away. But part of your mind notices that the webs are not deflecting with the staccato grip of arachnid feet, but with a long, smooth bend like someone drawing back a bowstring. Out of the shadows ahead, you see two humanoids moving along the strands of the web, not running, but sliding. They dismount the strand of web with a tumble and a flourish and peals of laughter as they congratulate each other and turn towards your group, their eyes shining with excitement. Now, this is one way you can introduce the two main characters of this adventure, Yuck Yuck and Spiderbait. These two characters are thrill-seeking goblins that have found a way to coat their feet with grease, and thus they are able to slide down the long, sticky strands of giant spider web like Kelly Slater surfing a big curl at Maui or Shaun White snowboarding a half-pipe at the X Games. They call this activity surfing the web. Yes, that's a very bad pun. But anyway, luckily for the party, these two, Yuck Yuck and Spiderbait, they know this part of the Underdark like the back of their hands, and they can act as expert guides to help the party get through this dangerous zone with less chance of random encounters and a greater chance of escaping any drow pursuit. So this adventure is a great way to narrate travel and throw in some skills challenges to break up the narration. Just as with the previous adventure, there are some suggested random encounters in this adventure as well. So to add some variety to your game, you might want to choose to alternate random encounters as skill challenges, which skill challenges let you narrate the daring way that the party avoids a fight by using the skills they learn from their goblin guides. And then the alternate encounters you can run as traditional combat. So if you combine and alternate those ways of presenting the dangers in the Silken Paths, it can help to give this adventure more of an epic feel. Now, Yuck Yuck and Spiderbait will take a modest payment for their services as guides, and they'll expect a share of any treasure the party finds while they're guiding them through the area. But these two don't want to leave the Underdark, and they will only offer to travel with the party beyond the Silken Paths if it seems like following the party will provide more thrills than staying here to surf the webs offers. Okay, the only thing in this section that's connected to the larger plot of the adventure is one of these random or not so random if you choose, encounters. This particular encounter involves a spectator, which is one of the smaller beholderkin. The spectator uses its telepathic abilities to warn the PCs about demons rising in the dark. However, it quickly grows paranoid, and it comes to believe the PCs themselves are demons that want to enslave it. And that causes the spectator to launch into an attack trying to destroy the party. Other encounters in this area include encounters with giant spiders, the not yet dead victims of the giant spiders, some drow, some quaggas, some dark mantles, and a seemingly out of place mimic. The most common enemies that you're going to find in this particular adventure are the giant spiders, obviously. And the toughest encounter, once again, like we said with Into Darkness last time, all the encounters in this section are randomly generated. But the most difficult potential encounter you can find is a patrol that includes 4 drow and 4 quagga slaves. Now the drow are CR 1/4 monsters each. The slaves are CR2 monsters each. So adding those 8 monsters with their varying CRs, that gives you the toughest encounter out of all of them. Special creatures or items in this section include, obviously, Yuck Yuck and Spiderbait themselves. Now, these are 2 normal goblins, but they have unusual skill bonuses that help them serve as competent guides in this adventure in this particular terrain. My favorite element of the adventure is really not a specific element, but it's more of a way this adventure presents as helping you tell a travelogue story. So if we think about the Underdark is a really oppressive place. While it poses now this particular adventure, while it poses some dangers, is an episode that just feels fun. I mean, what wouldn't be more fun than having Sean White and Kelly Slater as your personal guides on a terrain? Like, gnarly, dude. Like, that's so awesome. Oh, look at that, man. That's grody. It's grody to the max. You could have these kinds of really entertaining personalities that could take you through this particular environment where everything around you is dangerous, and it sort of turns that danger on its fun and lets you see the sort of thrilling side of being in this danger. So there's not any one element that stands out. It's just more the way this adventure gives you creative options for narrating wilderness travel in a hostile terrain. So if you think about the way it does that here in the Underdark, it may give you some inspiration to pull out of this adventure and put into your own game where you have a period, an extended period of travel that you want to narrate. You want to make the PCs feel like there is time being spent and you just don't want to skip over it. There's a reason to go through that travel. This gives you some particular insight on one option that you can choose to spice up that kind of travel montage that may extend for an entire session or maybe even more than one session of your game without it just feeling boring. Like everybody's just walking along. So the easiest homebrew adaptation of this game, it's suitable for any campaign arc that involves Underdark travel. And use with other editions, well, like we said last week, the Underdark's been around as long as the Drow have, so this can be used with older editions fairly easily. And that is going to wrap it up for our look at the Silken Paths. Next time, We are going to be back and we are going to look at the Hook Horror Hunt, which is the next little adventure that comes out of Chapter 2 of Out of the Abyss. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And once again, if you've watched this far, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, click the post notification bell so that you get notified every time new content drops. And I will see you next time here on Lore Friday. Good night, everybody.